Facebook, hello. How we doing? YouTube, hello. How you doing? The thumb looks huge on YouTube. It's not like that man though, with the big ginormous pudding
Not the
hands.
giant man.
Well, they did look pudding hands. I don't know what to call them. William, who's putting laughing there? Somebody put. Because I said he looked like Popeye.
Yeah, that's it.
Popeye with his pudding hands.
Alright.
All right, so here we go then. Come on.
He was on loud.
So we've got an interesting topic today.
This one is
At
quite
least
deep.
more so for the people of color.
Yeah.
People who classify them as not of color, they probably will be like,
Yeah, not really.
they won't like the topic and they won't like what we'll say either. But guess what? Me no business, and I eat that. So here we go. Turn this a bit. Yeah. Cool.
What?
No, that's fine. Yeah. I felt like I was falling off the edge. So now then, we've got a picture of Michael Jackson. It was found on the internet, so we didn't need permission per se. There was no copyright on it, so just in case anybody's gonna say anything, why did you put up his picture and he's famous and blah 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 blah. Well, anyway, he's gone.
And then it's to make a point.
And it's to make the point. You see the before and after with Michael Jackson. Now we know he had a condition called various pronouncements, vitiligo, you know, which people of melanated skin color get it. There are also others that get it, but not as much. And usually, anyway, they're still melanated to a lesser degree.
Yeah.
Actually. But people with a lot of melanin, so we dark brown and brown people, get this condition, some do, where it kind of like starts to take their skin back, peel off the outer layer of skin and take the pigment, and then the pink shows through.
Yeah.
And actually, I've seen on some people where they actually look then like a white person, as those who call themselves white,
Yeah.
which in itself proves then that we're all the same skin deep.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
exactly.
You know, because you could say then that have not all the white people got vitiligo
Yeah.
from ancestrally when they were all the same color as everybody else?
Yeah.
And the answer is basically
Yes.
yes. It is vitiligo or albinism,
Yes, I've said this. Yeah.
because there's no such thing as a white person.
Yeah.
All humans are humans, and all humans started off brown. And that's 100% fact. They all started off dark brown, which the political terminology for some is black. I refuse to use that terminology, at least in terms of my personal self. Those who wish to still call themselves black, that's fine. I accept what you say about yourself. There are some who still call themselves Negroes, and even some who call themselves niggers. I accept all those terms if that's how you choose to define yourself. But me, John Chambers, I am not black. I am not a Negro. I am not a nigger. I am brown, a brown human. And that's it. Any other classifications after that are social or cultural, you know, and that's it. So why are we on this topic? Well, because it's a serious topic, basically. I bet people of color right now, Africans, Caribbeans, Americans in particular, most near everybody knows somebody personally who is bleaching.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about Vibes Cartel, because we know every Jamaican and Caribbean, everybody into reggae music, we know about Vibes Cartel. And Vibes Cartel looks like a ghost in comparison to what he used to look like. But we're not talking about him. I'm talking about personally knowing people who are either your friends or acquaintances or even family who are bleaching. We all know somebody.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I look at those people and I start thinking and wondering, why in the world are you doing it? And it leads me to those three questions. Is it self-love? Is it self-hate? Or is it white supremacy?
Yeah.
And you'll hear and understand by the end of our discourse what we believe about it and how we see it. Um, or should I say how I see it, and then they will tell you their own view, which I think is probably the same as mine.
Yeah.
And that's not just because they're my daughters, but just, because that's how it is. It is what it is. And I think if you were to ask the people, the bleachers, they will tell you that it's self-love.
Of course.
I'm doing this because, I look better like this and I want to look nice. But then you see, I feel, and again, feeling this where is where the issue is. You feel better about yourself. So does that mean then that before you started burning your skin, and possibly, as in some cases where they're taking actual medicine, they're taking tablets and medicine inside their body, where you're actually now destroying not only your skin, but you're also destroying your liver and your kidneys and so forth. Before you actually started doing that, when you then had a darker hue on your skin, did that mean that you didn't feel good about yourself then? And clearly, we know for some that that's the case. But they would tell you no. Maybe when they were darker, then that's when they had self-hate. And now when they have become more brown, more lighter, then I should say, because all brown people are brown, whether they're dark brown or light brown or medium brown.
It's different.
They're brown.
Different.
But yet usually, even amongst our people, what we get is a terminology of either you're black or you're brown. And when they say brown, they mean somebody who's like maybe me or Tamar. And then black people, they're talking about Angelica. And that's, or darker.
Yeah.
You see me? Like my mum. And those of you who know my mum, you know what I mean. So them, they're calling her black. They're calling me brown. They're calling Tamar brown. Yeah, it was a brown skinned man, not brown, but brown.
Yeah.
And then now Tamar would be light skinned. See, and this is the terminology that's used amongst black people, right? And it's a normal, they're like, oh yeah, she was pretty and brown. So then, if she's not brown, she's not pretty. Then
brown skinned girl.
I
don't, and I've never liked that song.
No, man, I like it. Rubbish.
That Beyonce rubbish.
And she's been bleaching as well anyway.
She's been bleaching. She's been bleaching.
She even had secret little nose job.
No, she's been bleaching. Because again, the question then that we would like to answer, or that we will push at people, if you like, because we do these lives deliberately so that we make people start to think. Doesn't matter whether you agree with what we say or not. That's not even the point. But now here we have three things: self-love, self-hate, and white supremacy. So let's have a look at the foundation of this bleaching thing, and let's analyze and see what we come up with, what we think it really is, and what's actually going on in terms of colorism. Because there's been lots of talk, as we know, about racism, and they've jumped on this Black Lives Matter. The problem with racism, first and foremostly, is that we are all human, so we're all the same race.
Yeah.
But what they've then done is said, oh, well, if you're black, you're a black race. If you're white, you're the white race. If you're Asian, you're the, which is all rubbish anyway. But now here's an interesting thing.
Because when you actually think about it deep,
it's pure
rubbish.
Foolishness.
It is. Because how can somebody who's Indian be the same as someone who's Chinese, be the same as someone who's Filipino, be the same as someone who's Taiwanese. How are they all the same? Yeah, but they know they're not the same at the same time.
Yeah.
It don't make sense.
They're all Asians because they come from that part of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're all Asian.
And then even now they're trying to say North Indians, who are probably the biggest bleachers in the world.
Oh.
They're Caucasian. Which part?
How are they? You remember that lady I showed
The
you?
bleach part is
You
Caucasian.
saw that lady
Yeah.
I showed you from North.
She bleached out herself till even she doesn't have kneecaps.
Mhm.
Kneecaps.
You know.
Oh my god.
It was one shade.
How do you
all the way
remove
down her leg?
whole pigment of
But you
everything?
see, the thing is that of a reality, those people now, actually, when they're saying they're Caucasian, they might almost have some reality in it, which I'm going to come to that in a minute. That because if we're looking at bloodlines, there's some of that bloodline in the northern Indians.
Yeah, there is.
Not so much in the southern Indians, but in the northern ones. But let's leave India for a minute. We'll come back to them in detail because they are probably the number one bleachers of the world.
People don't realize.
You know, and
people
really don't know that Indians are the number one bleachers.
Yeah.
Indians and Pakistanis.
They're doing it,
Yeah.
young.
Doing it to their children.
And probably followed by the Chinese.
Yes. Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So let's leave them a minute. Let me tell you my little story, and then we'll talk about Michael Jackson a little bit because we've got his picture.
Yeah.
Excuse me, and then we'll go on from there. So my story, and then I'll leave it to Tamar. Talk about Michael Jackson. So I was discussing, issues pertaining to our city and, some sort of worldwide connected issues with the Black Lives Matter and, all of that type of thing with a Pakistani Muslim guy. So we were talking about, how people are treated and things like that. And then, he made an interesting comment. I didn't answer him. I just looked at him long enough for him to know that I think you're chatting before. I just didn't answer him. I just looked at him.
You just did that face. See, I knew it. That's funny because I do that too.
Yeah, didn't answer him. I just looked at him like that. As he says, if it's bad for us brown people, referring to himself, then I know that for black people it must be even worse. So imagine when they see us and we're together and they see a black man and a brown man, right? They're treating us badly because blah blah blah, and they're going on about racism and so forth. So I just looked at him because the man who's talking to me, who's brown, he's brown more than me, but he's darker than Tamar.
Yeah, right? He's got that tone to him.
All it is that his skin is a little bit more transparent looking.
Yeah.
Than mine. He's virtually my color, especially especially my winter color. Because this is my winter face.
Yeah, because everybody has a different tone.
And if you see me in summer, you'll know what I mean. This is my winter face now.
Yeah. This is
100%. This is my snow face.
And this is the topped up winter because I had a bit of sun. In the summer.
So my point now, I looked at this guy and I'm thinking, idiot. You're making a distinction between black and brown for what reason?
Yeah.
But you know why he's making that distinction? Because the white supremacists have done it. Those who wanted to make a distinction between the races, they are the ones who did it. So now they've made him to believe that he's a different color.
Yeah.
And so that makes him a different race. Whereas actually he's brown, I'm also brown, and even all the other people around him who are brown, we're all the same. But it is colorism that has made an issue, and colorism is even stronger and more pervasive than racism.
It's on the, it's
I
on the
should be
title.
on the title somewhere, I think.
Oh, we're talking about skin bleaching.
Skin bleaching, and is it self-love, self-hate, or white supremacy?
Yeah.
So the issue is that this guy now, because he's saying, well, I'm an Asian, as if that makes him different than me. We're both brown, but he's a slightly different shade of brown. But yet in Africa and in Jamaica, for instance, places that I do know about, you can have every shade,
Go to one
even
of
in
them
the same
countries.
family.
Yeah.
Even in the
Every
same
place
family.
I've been where there's brown people, there has been every shade. Morocco, every shade.
My dad, he's dead now. My dad is far lighter than I am. Maybe even, in fact, I'm looking at his picture there. He's lighter than Tamar in that picture.
Yeah, he was.
It's only when he had gone back to live in the sun that he started to look a bit different.
Let me explain.
No, you tell us.
Write your
You
comment.
write your comment. Write it. But we know. But write it. Write it, because that's what we want. We want the interaction. Write your comment. But yeah, my daddy was actually lighter than her.
Yeah, he was.
You see, and he's a Jamaican. He came from two brown parents,
Yeah.
which the political thing calls them black.
Black.
You see, but they're the interesting thing that my grandfather, my dad's dad, was very dark, and my dad's mum was very light. So there you are. And yet then their children came up and down the spectrum, in between. Some very dark, some very light. Yes, that's right. Yeah, yeah. So you see, my man now telling me, oh, brown people and black people as if we're different, because this is what this white supremacist mindset. And now some will argue, no, it's not because of that. Well, I'm going to show you how it is because of that. That's where it began. That's the roots and the origin of it, and that's where it still comes until today. So before I go any further with that part, to begin to talk about certain countries, August, we're still waiting on your comment. Write it. We'll read it and discuss it. Write it. So Tamar gonna say something about Michael Jackson.
Oh, well,
because we used his picture. So let's
where to start with Michael Jackson?
you know,
Well, Michael
we
Jackson,
like him. We loved him.
I did love him. I loved Michael Jackson. You already know that. I loved Michael Jackson hard. I did. I'm watching the film.
Yes.
Everything.
Oh my gosh, that what's it called? Moonwalker, isn't it? Darryl drew it up as well.
I was loving him. But and you know, when I was younger, I knew it's funny actually because I knew
why you loved him, because he represented us.
Yeah, because I knew he was, you know, black.
Level.
Yeah.
But then obviously he looked white. But you know, when I was young, it didn't confuse me. It's quite strange actually. But when I was young, it never used to confuse me that he looks white, but he's actually, you know, not what they call black. It didn't confuse me. But well, we know he had, you know, a lot of issues in his childhood and growing up with his
the nasty, evil,
traumatizing
abusive father.
Yeah. He used to beat them and terrorize them, and
you know, maybe not sexually abusive, but certainly physically.
Yeah, physically and
psychological abuse.
Definitely. Telling them they're not good enough. You know, if it wasn't perfect, then it wasn't good. Even though look how talented they all are. Yes, that's exactly it. Because then what happened was he didn't want to look like his dad. He didn't want to resemble his dad in any way, shape, or form. So he started to do all these alterations on his face.
Self-hate.
Yeah, self-hate. Slimming down his nose to a more, what they call European, Eurocentric.
Slimming it down to a flutina.
Right.
What he said it.
They believe that brown ladies are attractive compared to dark ones, yeah. But the danger is when they bleach and there is occurrence of accident, the stitches can't occur, hence they die.
Ooh. Well.
Well, that would be them ones ones that are in the acid or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ones that actually
Bathe in it.
bathe in it and spoil their skin.
But to me, that's
Like,
psychological issues.
yeah, of course it is.
Of course it is.
It's classified as body mutilation.
Yes, yeah.
You know, and Michael Jackson most
Was
definitely.
the same. Oh, yeah.
You know, he was doing body
Yes,
mutilation.
he was.
Yeah.
There's no
Shaving off his
two
nose
ways
into a
about it.
little pin. Yeah, it
I
was
don't
like
think he
this.
could even breathe
It
out
was
that
no, he couldn't. He couldn't. It was like this. Yeah, on his face, like some little, just a little triangle.
Yeah, and the
Like that.
were like,
Yeah,
that was all that was
because
left.
he literally shaved off all
a
of
little
this
monkey's
bit.
nose.
Yeah, just chung chung.
You know, and it didn't look nice at all.
No,
it didn't.
Now there are people who do nose jobs and certain things, and they actually look
Yeah,
they
to
look
fix
all right. They look cool,
problems
and maybe to fix a problem or so forth, and that's their choice as well. I'm not even saying that it's not your choice, but you've got to understand the underlying reasons behind why it happens so much. Because we're not talking about the odd case of somebody then maybe who says, oh, I want to be a model or I want to do this, and they go off and alter whatever, make themselves bigger boobs or a bigger body or whatever it is that they're trying to do. It's their business. It's kind of foolishness still for me,
course,
but it's their business. Or if they were playing rugby or football or whatever, and their nose is bent out, and then they try to fix it.
Yeah,
fine.
of course.
But let me tell you this for sure, because me, I have a nice, proper nose. You see it? Yeah, my nose is good for the sunshine. I can breathe properly when it's hot, right? I can take in plenty of air. You understand me? My nose is built for the heat. So my nose broad. Yeah, look. As a broad bridge and two nice big nostrils. I love it. I love my nose because it's built for purpose. But here's the interesting thing. When I was growing up, there are plenty of black idiots, let me call them.
Of course.
I'm not black, so I'm not one of them. But those ones who are black, they know.
Yeah.
And the ones who I'm talking about, they know. They might not be even on the live today, but them know who them is.
Yeah.
There are plenty of black idiots who used to tell me, oh, look at you, your nose broad like gorilla.
Yeah.
And tell me how I have a big nose, a big ugly nose. Your nose is broad, blah, 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 and all these type of things. Oh, you would be handsome, except if your nose wasn't so broad.
All them
I remember one lady telling me that, who until today, that's what I'm saying. I'm saved. You understand? I'm saved. So whatever else I wanted to say, I'm not saying it. Just, okay? That's what I have to say. And even her, she would know what that means. Yeah, rubbish.
Yeah, it's the same.
It means nothing.
To me about my nose as well, but you know, luckily, you know, I was brought up in a family where we weren't taught to hate ourselves and weren't interested in what other people were saying about you and what they were thinking about you, because that was a reflection of what was going on inside of them.
Inside of them, that's right. So busy telling somebody your nose is ugly and this and that and all these things. But you see, it's deeper even than just them saying it to you because they want to feel like they look better than you or they feel better than you. It's deeper than that.
Yeah.
And that's what we've got to understand. This whole thing, the colorism issue, is deeper than that. So if we do you guys prefer dark or light? We don't care. We don't care because we've got in our family, we've got everybody.
Color. Yeah.
We've got everybody. We've got dark, we've got light, we've got white, even. So we actually don't care. I think that's the main reason why we speak against racism in the way that we do.
Yeah.
You know, in the terms of this you know, like you should be Black Lives Matter and all this and support.
Don't even get me started.
And black and be interested in black
excellence,
black power and black excellence and so forth. No, if a person is excellent, they're excellent no matter whether their nose is broad, whether their nose looks like a trumpet, trombone, or a flute.
Yeah.
Right?
Whatever.
If they're not excellent, it's the same thing. It's whether they're whatever, you know.
whether they're brown,
unless they were using
brown,
their nose
white.
to do some particular job,
Excellent thing.
you know, I don't see where it matters. Likewise, the skin color, the same thing.
Yeah.
But the world does not say that.
No, it doesn't.
And this is where the issue is, that the world doesn't say it. And when people look, and they may ask this question, as they do, well, why is it that, you know, black countries, they struggle so much? And then, well, this is the reason why, because it comes from this colorism.
Yes.
And that's what you've got to understand, right? It comes from colorism. Or goods. You asked the question, let me give you an example for your country, Kenya. I was in Kenya, and when I was in Kenya, because obviously, as far as they're concerned, they see me as a Muzungu,
White man.
right? And of course, you know, I know what Muzungu means. So because obviously I'm not a real Muzungu, they called me the Black Muzungu, which is foolishness. It's a nonsense term,
Of course it is.
right? But what they were trying to say, I am not
You're
one of
foreign.
them.
Yeah.
I'm a foreigner. So that in itself, I took that as an insult.
Yeah.
I didn't let it bother me, but I took it as an insult because I said, these people, Kenyans, and it was many, not a few, many, wanted to make a separation and wanted to make sure that I knew that I'm not the same as them.
Yeah,
That-
you're not.
In
you're not
actual
one of
fact,
them.
I am not the same as them because my ancestry, at least
Yeah,
on my
come from
father's
there.
side, didn't come from Africa.
Yeah.
But on my mother's side, it did.
Yeah.
So, you know, but immaterial, if we go back to the beginning of time, we all came from Africa.
Yes.
So all this, we're not like you, we're different, is a nonsense thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect that when I went to Kenya, but
From
it
brown
surprised
people.
me.
Yeah.
I'm thinking these people, they look like me. Some of them are darker than me and all this. But I was called the Black Muzungu,
Yeah.
right? Then I thought, because they're looking at my accent, they're looking at what they feel is a different cultural dynamic.
Yes.
And so then they decided that, yes, that's
There
what it
must
is.
be a- yeah.
So then I confronted someone one day and I said to that person, yo, I said, mind your mouth. I said, who are you calling Black Muzungu? I said, by the way, I said, I'm a Jamaican. Right?
Get it right.
So don't even try that. And then hear them. Well, if you're even from Jamaica, then that still proves my point. You're rich then, because to get here from Jamaica, you must have money.
Oh, people
And you see,
stupid,
so it's a mindset.
yeah, it is.
And so they feel, and quite often it's the case, they feel like if you're a lighter in color, especially in these African countries, you are more privileged.
Yeah.
And they allow that to be the case, same as they do in Jamaica. Lighter colored people are given more privilege. They are looked at with a different perspective than the darker ones.
Yeah.
For instance, in the case of now, like somewhere like Kenya, I experienced this interesting thing. Went to the Emirates to change a ticket, and we were all sat there. Have to pull a ticket with your number. When your number's called, you go. Now I already know that they favor white people, and they jump over backwards on the behalf of white men there and carry on like idiots for the sake of the white skin. So I saw. We're all sat down there with our ticket in our hands, and there's one white man sat there. So this little black coconut who sat there, who's supposed to be serving all of us, he's there busy trying to eye the white man. Psst, psst. But I'm very nosy, so I don't miss anything. So while he's there busy trying to get the attention of the white guy, psst, psst,
You got the attention.
eventually he got my attention. So I thought, good, I'm going to catch you. So eventually he got the attention of the white guy, and he called and he's beckoning him to come quickly to his desk so that he'll serve him ahead of time and obviously receive a little bribe as his payment for allowing him to jump the queue. So I said to the white man, don't move. And I said it very boldly, so the white guy's looking at me and thinking, because he didn't even know what's going on properly when I've said it like that. Then I said to the guy at the desk, I said, if you're mad, serve him before you serve anybody else. I said, and you'll see. I said, most definitely, he's not next in line.
Can we
Right?
come before everyone
I
else?
said, but he's white. So you think he's next in line because he's white.
Yeah.
I said, let me tell you. I said, you're fooling yourself. Because obviously they thought I was going to stop at that point. I said, I haven't even started yet. I said, don't fool yourself. I said, you go to that white man's country. I said, he's probably British. Go to Britain, and I can tell you now that they will see you in a queue, and by your color, they will overlook you and even go to the white person before you. But you're bowing and scraping like you want to even lick the bottom of his shoes. Why? Because he's a white man. I said, if you're crazy, serve him before me inside here today. I said, and all because you want a little bit of money from him, because you feel say he's a white man, he must have a bit more money than me as an African, so let me get some money from him. I said, if you want to do that, go in the back office. But here's the joke of it. The little idiot took the white man in the back office. I'm telling you. But I told him, stay in there. I said, you best you don't come back out. I said, because you are not, I said, not even any security in the air can help you today if you come back out that office. I'm not even joking. But this is what I'm talking about colorism.
Yeah.
Colorism. That they have trained us, we people of color, to treat each other differently based on the shade of color that we are.
And where does that
right? And that comes from colonialism and before. We had 400 years of slavery, about the same period of time that the British occupied India, not at the same period of time, but across that time anyway, about 300 to 400 years of occupation in India, same story.
The
same story.
The same rubbish.
And then they also brought in the religious element of it into India as well. You know, because that's why you have even a difference even with the colorism and the religion. You've got Bengalis who are dark, who are Muslim in the majority. And then you have Pakistanis who are whitish, wheatish as they call it, and all these type of terms, who are also Muslim in the majority, and they look down. The Pakistani Muslims look down on the Bengali Muslims because they're darker. You see, and it's all this that came from the white supremacy. That's where it came from. So what have you got in your notes, Tamar? Because my notes are in my head and I've got enough.
Well, I've got quite a bit actually. So, because I was watching a few documentaries, and this is mostly about Asia. This is mostly pertaining towards like Asia, you know, Philippines and them places there. You know, where they're more
listen, let's define it for people because, you know, I know sometimes we don't give people links to things and we don't give them stuff
but the information
can be found. But we don't do it because we're lying. We don't do it because we just can't be bothered. To be truthful, let you go and find it for yourself. If you disbelieve what we're saying, then switch off.
Or prove it.
Or prove us wrong.
Because it don't take me long to find some of these notes. So if you wanted to find the information,
exactly, you'll find it. But let's tell you, the bleaching countries in Asia. Number one, India. 100% number one. Pakistanis are probably number two because they're Indians anyway.
They're one and the same.
Bengalis are the same story because all of that to me is India, right?
It got broken up.
The white man broke it up. British. So let's not fool ourselves.
Exactly.
They're number one.
India.
Chinese.
They're number two.
Which a lot of people don't realize how much bleaching goes on in China, but we're going to come to that
because it's seen that this is their normal skin tone,
but it's not.
It's not. No, it's not at all.
It's not.
And
you know,
they've been doing it. People actually believe. then that's the normal skin tone. of
Yeah.
Chinese people.
Philippines.
Philippines is the next one.
The
yeah.
Philippines
They're bad, you know.
was the Philippine Islands were originally colonized by the Spanish.
Yes, that's exactly what I have
Right.
in my notes.
And that's where the racism
Yep.
began.
from
Yep.
the Catholicism.
From Catholicism and from the Spanish. It was the
Yeah.
time of the Inquisition.
yeah.
And they only had one agenda,
Yep.
which was a racist agenda.
Yes, white supremacy.
Right? White
Yeah.
supremacy. That
Yeah.
is what the Spanish at that time and the Portuguese were all
Mhm.
about. And then came the English.
Yes.
And then Philippines went to the USA.
Yeah.
And the same
The
story.
same story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So they are the and of course, you know, there are others, but those are the main culprits.
Culprits. Yeah, it's true.
You know?
Yeah.
So then
They're the main places.
over to Tamar.
So what I found is that in 2018 they obviously they look at the annual global worth of skin bleaching, and in 2018, this is 2018, this is not even now, it's probably increased
would've gone
by
up
now.
now.
Yeah,
Would have gone up by now.
$8.3 billion.
Mhm.
That's how much the skin bleaching industry is
Yeah.
worth, right? And it's
1 minute.
go on.
Have you got in your notes? Does it say that the major manufacturers for all skin bleaching products are European?
Oh
Mm,
no,
yeah.
I didn't have it, but I did read that. Yeah.
So isn't that
Comes from
interesting?
Europe, exactly.
That
And they're not even able to be used.
the
in
major,
Europe.
and they're not allowed. Many of the products are banned in Europe. Right? Listen to this. Many of the products are banned in Europe. They cannot be used in European countries. That's neither, and that's including the UK, who say they're not part of Europe
Yeah.
now. But they're the manufacturers, and they are taking them to Africa and to Asia and bleaching out people and killing them off
and giving them problems
and getting profit from it.
Yeah, and a lot of profit. Because listen to this: in Philippines, almost half of society engages in skin bleaching, and I believe the other half are not doing it because they can't afford.
Yeah.
Because they're on the lower
Or
bracket
they're lying.
of income. Yeah, or they're
And they're not,
pretending because they don't want people to know. You know what I mean?
Because men often don't
Don't
admit to
say
it.
that they're
no.
doing it. Yeah, and this one lady on there she said that 30% of her salary
Goes on the bleaching.
goes to the skin bleaching. And if you ever saw her desk, right, it was like some desk
That's
about
like,
this
that's
wide.
like paying rent.
Yeah, it is. It was like a desk about this wide, yeah. And everywhere, boom, 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 all these different things. What she does, and she does this every night. Wipes the cream on her. Then she does the what's it called? Yeah, scrubbing it, and then the peel, and then the cream, and all this. And she does this every night, and her skin was very white. Yeah, and she said that everybody in her family. Well, you go back brown, don't you? Because your body then creates melanin again. And she said,
or
you get sick, yeah. And she said everybody in her
skin cancer
family,
and all these type
from
of
the
things.
beginning, everybody in her family from day one, they're all bleaching. They're all, do you know what I mean? They're all doing it. And another lady, she said the same thing. She's the only one in her family that won't bleach, and she's actually like, you know, she's raising awareness more about it and trying to fight against it by making, you know, little funny videos taking the mick out of these people that are doing the bleaching and etc. And yeah, she said her whole family does it and she's the only one that doesn't. And they're like, you know, ridiculing her for not doing it and saying, oh, you know, you're gonna be looking nasty, and it's seen as if you're darker skinned in the Philippines and places like that, it's seen as you're dirty and you're low income, and you know, you're poor and poverty stricken and deprived and all these things.
And who gave them those ideas?
Exactly.
Europeans.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, and that's it. And almost half of the revenue, for the for the skin bleaching, you know, that 8.3 billion, sorry, it's 54.3% comes from Asia Pacific places. Yeah, 54.3%. So quite obviously the rest of the percent must be Africa and then places
and Caribbean.
yeah.
Jamaica,
Yeah, and
where they,
Brazil,
where they love
them kind of
bleaching.
place. Yeah. So then, obviously the documentary.
Argentina.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Them places there where they don't care if they're if they're looking back. There's the same ones that are pumping their butt in Brazil. You know what I mean? It's the same story. Yeah. And the lady was saying that a lot of the creams and stuff, they contain mercury and all these things.
Yeah, they will do.
And the ones that contain mercury are the cheaper and faster ones.
That's
Because
right.
of course they're more dangerous.
They're more dangerous. They kill people off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, that's what it says. It said that they went to like a market because they had on, like the little secret cameras and stuff. And some of the creams that had actually been banned by the FDA in the Philippines were still getting sold hard. That's on the on the thing there.
They'll be there. Same
No
in
one's
India.
doing anything.
Same in India. Because they'll tell you, you'll go to certain shops and they'll have their, stock of this, that, and the other. And they may ask and say, oh, but do you have even, something else? They'll tell, and they'll just go under the counter and produce another one.
Yeah, because that's what it was. They went to a shop and it was in the back bit.
Black market cannot be beaten.
No, it can't.
No.
Because what you've got to change for black market to change is the mindset. Because you can't beat black market in these type of countries.
No way.
And the black market is where they're selling all those dangerous products.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, and there was there's a new thing that they've been using now. Some glutathione. I can't even say the word. Glutathione, something like that. Glutathione or something like that. Yeah, and it's like pills and injections.
I even know. Listen, there are even people right here in Leeds.
Oh my! Using that
who are swallowing tablets.
Yes.
And bleaching themselves.
Disgusting.
Right here in this city.
And that was made for liver problems, for cancer patients. That's what the actual medicine is for. Yeah, and people are taking it because there's one of the side effects, of course,
is that it lightens your skin.
Yeah, because it inhibits your. What does it do? It inhibits the production of melanin. It decreases the production of melanin in your skin. So then when you're taking that, of course, your skin becomes, which we already know that lots of cancer treatments, they do cause things like that, skin changes and hair changes and all those kind of things. Yeah, that's normal. Why? Because it's poison.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. It's poison.
Yeah, it's poison.
They're actually killing cells.
Yes.
So now you imagine that now there's a larger prevalence of skin cancer amongst melanated people, which there never used to be.
Yeah.
Because then now they start telling you all these nonsense things. Be careful. You've got to stay out of the sun. You need to wear sunscreen because blah blah blah. No, shut up. Go away. Swallow the sun cream and eat it yourself.
Yeah.
You understand? If I wasn't saved, I would even tell you further what you should do with it. But I'm saved. Say praise the Lord.
Yeah, because even that is poison.
Because they just want you to put that rubbish on your skin, poison out your skin. Listen, olive oil, baby lotion, baby oil, cocoa butter, shea butter. And then there's something you can put on your skin.
Yes.
Right?
Nothing else.
Nothing else. All that they're telling you, put this, put that, factor 20, factor this, 50. Factor what?
There's even like factor
keep it
80. Yeah, factor 80. And they say that's for them very, 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 pale skin.
Yeah, it's a lot of rubbish.
No, just act accordingly. Stay out of the sun.
People who look like us, right?
Let me
tell you. When they used to be having them out there working their cotton fields,
was they offering sun?
When they were out there for X amount of hours from sunlight until sundown in the cotton field, in the cane fields, and all the rest that goes with it, some of them were out there half naked. Were they getting any what do they call it, something there? Skin cancer?
Oh,
no,
they weren't.
Were they giving them any sun factor, blah blah blah? You must be joking.
No, they weren't.
But here's the thing: those people knew how to take care of their skin themselves. Yes, I know there are some people have grown up with parents who are slack, let me call it that, who didn't teach them that. But you see me, the background I come from, these are mine, so you already know what I'm saying, they know. When I was a child growing up, I'd get a conk in the back of my head if my mum found anywhere dry on my skin. All those things matter. You see, those things matter.
You're messing up your skin.
Right? Because this melanin that we have in our skin is there for a reason. And then when we would put cocoa butter and olive oil and so forth on it, you preserve your skin that way. But now what you have people now, they're putting on what white people are putting on their skin, they're putting it on their skin.
That's exactly what I thought.
And what can it do for your skin? How does it help your skin?
You know what? That Nivea, why is it like that? It's like, you know, super cream.
Yeah, it is. It's very, very thick, isn't it?
But the reason is because a lot of that, again, is to do with the bleaching. You see? You haven't finished your things, have you? There. No, good. All right, wait. Wait.
I'll just keep it up.
The English. Queen Elizabeth I. Right? So we're going way back 1600 and odd. That is where this became a real big thing. She was known to be the milky white queen.
Yeah.
Right?
Painting up her face.
And she and then all the people, the British people will follow her, the French, the Spanish, they will be painting themselves, you know, with the mercury and to stay white. They'll paint themselves. Then now when they put all this terminology into place so that they make you to think that if white means rich, white means better, white means pure, and black means dirty, black means savage, black means evil. And that's why they gave people that term black people. And that's why I keep telling people, I'm not black. I'm brown. You can't call me black because I'm not accepting it.
And I'll never accept
Because that is a white man's terminology. It might not be the average white man of today, but yet still, many of them, their answer will be, oh, well, I don't see color. Well, you better see color because I have one. So don't tell me you don't see color. What rubbish is that?
Yeah.
You know, I see color.
That's the truth.
We are shades of brown and they're shade of nude.
Yeah.
Like a nude peach color. You different
Yes,
shades.
we see.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm not calling you up. I don't know what you are because I don't see
I
color.
don't see color.
Yeah,
No,
but
because
then
that's
when you
wrong.
put them ready, you are seeing it.
That's wrong.
Exactly.
And they very well see it anyway.
Yes. So I'm not interested in all that. I don't
see color people are just lying.
Yes, they're
Listen to
lying
this.
to make they think that they're making you feel better.
Oh yeah, and they think they're clever. I had a so-called. This is going back years. I had a so-called white girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
She introduced me as her black boyfriend. After that, we're done. Finish. Rock up. Mash up.
This is my black.
Because what rubbish is that? My black boyfriend.
So you have to get.
What are you trying to say?
Black. But you know the funny.
Because she's getting gassed because she's going out.
Yeah. But then you know my mum. You know mum in it because when she was younger, where she lived in, she went to a school where she was the only brown person there, and everybody else was like white as they call it. Yeah, and then when she went to high school or upper school as they used to call it, she said she then went to this school and there was everyone brown.
Yes,
there,
plenty.
Yeah, lots. And she said, and then the white girls who were all calling her Cocoa Pop and all these nasty names and bullying her were now with the black men. The black boys at the school, and she said she just said to, oh, am I not a Cocoa Pop anymore? Yeah, am I not a monkey anymore? And all them things. Yeah, and the girls are there. Yeah, all
they can't answer.
They can't answer. Yeah. Why? Because they're just thinking, oh, it's some fetish. Yeah.
But then you see the problem that we have, right? The problem that we have is the misconception that colorism is not a dangerous thing.
Yes, when it really is.
Because what you have then is that we believe that now, nowadays we have much more of a melting pot. So, we've got black guys who have married white girls and vice versa, and we have this melting pot of family. But now that's fine, because I don't care whether you marry anybody who is orange, pink, or blue, if there were such. I mean, some of them look funny from how they, bleach out themselves. Anyway,
Yeah.
you marry who you want. But the issue is this, that it's the identity crisis
Yeah, that you have.
that becomes the issue. Because even whether me as a Jamaican blooded brown person, as I call myself, would go to and would have married a white lady who maybe is English, we are not the same culture, and my children need to understand both.
Yes.
And understand the real world, and understand that they're going to have some kind of coloration, that the world will look at them by that coloration.
Yeah.
So, my mum is white. Okay, yeah, but that's your mum. It's not you.
Yeah, because this is
My
what
dad
I'm
is
saying
white.
with my
Yes, it's your
friend.
dad. It's not you.
She said, "Oh, when she was at school, she used to be called black this and black
And
that."
and they don't
she
get
was,
it.
and she was saying, "Oh, but I'm not even black. My mum is white." And I said to her, "I said that doesn't matter." I said, "They're not interested if your mum is white or if your dad is what or if whoever." I said, "What you look like is what you
Is
look
what you
like,
look like.
and that's all that they're caring about."
And this is what we've got to understand, because if we begin to teach people reality and how to deal with reality, we won't have this because I call it self-hatred.
It is
Yeah,
self-hatred.
I believe that it's two things. It's self-hatred and it is white supremacy.
Yeah.
There's no self-love in
No,
that
there's
whatsoever.
not. You
Because
can't love yourself.
because you cannot love yourself and want to change how
and
you
want to mutilate.
mutilate yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about, if you had a defect.
Yes.
And if you determine that a dark color of skin is a defect, or a broad nose is a defect, you got a problem.
Yes. And that's a
You
fact.
see, that is a
Yes,
psychological
you've got a psychological issue.
And it came from colonialism.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
on with your notes. I'm just jumping in and out because
colonialism and the supremacy.
Yeah. Well, what I was saying was where is it now? Yeah, the FDA, the Federation of Drugs and Food. Yeah, the Federation of Drugs and Food. They made it clear from 2011, right? So 2011, that's a long time ago now. It's not long, but 10 years. They made it clear from then. Do not be injecting yourself or taking any of these pills. Now, people are still doing it. And the worst case thing was, what was it? Let me see, because it even says here.
So it was the same with the body implants, though. The injection of whatever the hell that is they're putting
exactly.
in there.
And it said that the pills and the injections can cause serious damage to the liver, nervous system, and kidney. Yeah. So that depending on the dose that you take, right? And in the Philippines, there was some lady there, and she was called a nurse, something, glutaskin nurse or something like that. There's a term for them. Yeah, and they have like boutiques and everything. Boutiques with the sign there, lighten the skin with the glutathione injection, and she's going around to people's houses, injecting them, getting paid for it, and she can easily buy her supply just off the internet. She doesn't have to call someone, get the wholesaler, send everything, and this is all supposed to be illegal in that country, and this is on camera. She's doing this on camera. They're not hiding it. They're like I said, they've got banners on the beautician thing there. Gluta injection. Come and get your lightening cream and your lightening this and that. And people are paying for it. Right? And when and she said as well that it's worse because the public figures and the celebrities within the Asian culture, especially Korea. Korea's bad as well. They're another one because of all their K-pop stars and how they all whiten their skin and bleach their skin. It's like a known thing. It's not You know what I mean? They don't go in the
over
sun. Yeah, they don't go in the sun, really. They might go a little, little time. Oh, I'm on holiday, so they might take a little picture in the sun. But
Yeah,
when
but
they're on
that's
holiday, they've got their umbrella, they've got their hat on. Do you know what I mean? They've got their skin covered. They'll even go in the pool, they're wearing a t-shirt and all these kind of things because they don't want to get dark. Yeah. And the girl said, and the reporter said to the girl that was getting the injections, from the nurse, she said, why are you doing these injections? And the girl said, oh, well, I first started them just to see what it was like because I was curious. But no, it's because you had self-hatred for your skin color, for your skin shade. She said, I just tried it out because it might not work anyway. So then I tried it out, and she said, oh, and after a few weeks, people were telling me that my skin looked so nice and white, and that I was looking like a Korean. These are nice compliments that I want to keep getting. So that's the reason I'm continuing with the skin
This is
whitening.
why I say it's a psychological, because they don't even know they're chatting shit.
Exactly. Because what are you even on about? Oh, well, you look like a nice Korean. Yeah, because in Korea, they come like China.
Yeah,
serious.
bleaching out themselves.
Yeah. I don't even have to tell you a personal story where there was this girl that lived with us, a student, and she had a friend. And this friend was very brown, actually. She was very brown. But she was, Chinese. And I even said to her...
Very brown as in dark?
Yeah, she was brown, yeah. So I even said to her, like, oh, have you got a tan? Because, I was only young then, like 15 or something. So in them days, I didn't really know, that they were actually brown people because, of course, of the lies that they've spread throughout the place. So I was said to her, oh, have you got, a tan, or, do you tan your skin or something? Because everybody else was very, very white, but she was brown. And she said, oh, no, this is my natural skin. She said, I've been like this since I was born. She said, but I won't whiten my skin. That's what she said. She said, I won't bleach it or whiten it. And my mum always says to me, oh, it's worse in the summer. And at least I should do it in the summer because I get very dark in the summer. She said, but I won't do it. Of course it's normal. The sun. Exactly. And that's the thing. And the student that lived with us, the same thing. She told me how her mum was there telling her, oh, are you using the cream I sent you? And all these things, and to sending her these whitening creams and all this stuff. Yeah, it's normal culture for them. From you're young, they're using the whitening creams on you. They want you to be looking, like the European look, the white look. Yeah. And this is prevalent in their society. It's hard because, when I even asked her, she even told me straight up, well, when they see somebody who's dark, they believe that, oh, they're working, in the fields, and they ain't got no money, and they're not of high class or society. Because if they were, they would be light. And that's what then perpetuates racism. Yes. They treat Africans who go and study in China and they work in there and so forth. They treat them as badly as possible. Because I even saw that video where they weren't letting in the black people. Oh, no black people allowed in McDonald's. Oh, that McDonald's got shut down fast as soon as that came on the internet.
Yeah, because they can't do that. Of course not. Given the name McDonald's, it's a franchise. Isn't it? And so what, the whole of McDonald's are treating people like that? No, they're not.
Yeah.
Well, they tried the same in Kenya.
Yeah, you see.
Two things they did in Kenya. There was a Chinese restaurant. Which obviously the chefs were authentic Chinese and the owners, and then they had Kenyans working there, extra, as kitchen workers and waiters and waitresses. So they were barring Kenyans from eating in that restaurant. You know what I mean? So they almost got burnt down.
Of course. And you can't bar the people that are from that
here.
Yeah. And this is the thing, because it really goes back to like what we were saying last week Was it last week or was it the week before? About the Chinese people wanting to be everywhere on the earth. And they want to be everywhere, but they don't want to integrate.
They don't want to integrate. Chinese definitely, like Indians as well. They're the same amongst many of the other nationalities. Let me use that term, rather than races, because they're not a different race. Amongst the many other nationalities, they are the ones who are extremely racist and segregationist. They don't like mixing. They only want to mix with Chinese. They don't want their children to marry anybody except Chinese.
And if it is, maybe white, and even some of them not even
and that's
white.
just about it. But as for them being too mixed with people who look like us,
never.
They just don't want it. There's a Chinese girl I knew, and she said to me, well, in fact, let me talk about the one who stayed in my house first. There was more than one that stayed here, but this particular one, she said to me, because I asked her one day, I said to her, and these exact words I said, why are you up my ass? And she started giggling. Because everywhere I went, she went. Everything I'm doing. What are you doing?
Coming to coming to look. Any little thing you're cooking, coming to look.
What are you doing? What are you cooking? What are you going to do next? How do you do that? You know, just all the time. So then she said to me, she said she'd never seen and this black people. She's never seen black people before except on the TV.
You see?
I'm the first black man she's ever seen in her life, up close and personal. So she was, she was studying me. She was studying everything, and because obviously I was a nice person, because I'm cool, So she's studying me because she had been given negative vibes about black people. She was told by her family, don't have a black boyfriend. Don't get too close with a black man because you can't marry one, and all of these type of things. She told me that they said all of that. You see? As it so happens, I cussed out her mum, and then her mum moved her from here. But anyway, so be it. Because it is what it is. So yeah, of course. What do you mean? I told her, you tell your mum this, and she told her what I said.
And then her mum's moving her
fast. Oh yeah, the uncle came to collect her.
Oh, I remember now. I'm definitely remembering now.
There was about 5 of them that came. And even though there was 5 of them,
about 2 back.
They were still scared of me.
Because most of them stayed outside actually. There's only 1 or 2 that actually came in to get her things.
And I was just looking at them.
And she was sad. She didn't
very
want to
sad.
leave.
Yeah, she cried.
Yeah, she did, yeah. That was actually very sad.
She didn't want to go at all. She was very happy. But anyway, that's between she and the mother, isn't it?
Yeah, what can you do?
But another Chinese lady told me a similar story. She was very intrigued by me, but she told me the same thing. She said, we've been told that we shouldn't not to have anything to do with black people.
Yeah, you see?
And because black men are bad.
Yeah.
And all of this is what she told me. And she didn't, and so she's looking at me, studying me to find out where is the bad, and she didn't see it. But this is something that is not new.
No, it's not.
It has been going on ever since. This is for hundreds and hundreds of years. Because when you take that and then you transfer it to the mentality, let's say, of India, it's worse.
It's worse. Yeah,
it's worse
there.
And let me tell you, just in case you didn't know, and for any Indian or Pakistani or Bengali who will watch this at any time, or anybody who will tell any of them that they know, because they go on like they don't like black people, particularly and especially Africans, as they would term them. The first human being to step on their foot on the continent of India was African.
Of course.
Remember, I told you that. The first human being. We're not talking about savages and half this and half that. Right? And I'm not even going to get into that again right now. But the first human being to step in India was an African. A dark person who was darker than me. And that's why all the southern Indians are dark as they are, and some of them are proper dark.
I already told you about that boy that I knew, and he was as dark as Angelic. Well, he still is, obviously. He's not gone anywhere.
Unless he's been bleaching.
No. And he was from Sri Lanka.
That's what I'm saying. And those what, and of course, because where is it? Way down the bottom.
The worst thing is, there was another person, there where I lived from Sri Lanka, but he was the lighter one. Yeah, and I don't like people from my country. I don't like Sri Lankans because my friend said to him, "Oh, why are you not friends? With him? You two are from the same place. We're all kind of in the same group. Why are you not friends with him?" "Oh no, I don't like people from my place." Why? I think he didn't like him because he was dark.
Self-hatred.
Yes.
Because he don't like dark skin. He wants the ones who look more lighter.
More lighter.
But the fact is that they all started off like that. Now, what did happen there? About 600 BC, I think. You could correct me on this if I'm wrong, but I think I'm probably right. The Mughals came in the north of India. Now they are they classified them. They call them now Indo-Aryan.
Yeah, that's it. That's what they say.
They're basically they would have been like the people from Iran and so on and so forth. They were the whiter skinned peoples. So so they came in, boom, 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 boom. We are the leaders. We are in charge, and tried to take over in the north, and started making their babies and things in the north, and trying to create a different color. And so that's where they then began to create this colorism. And then so the ones that come from the dark, from the south, and they're going to stay darker in the south because it's more hot. So the ones who are up in the north where you're getting even snow,
that's why they stay lighter.
That's why then you go even more north. You go to Nepal, where we've got the Himalayas, and you've got them. They look like white people.
Yeah, they do. Because even like
and they're still Indians.
Some people I look on that lady's Instagram, the one who does the makeup, and some of them girls on there, they actually just look like what you would call a white person. But they're not, and they would never even class themselves as a white person. That's the funniest thing. But they basically are.
And some of that now is in their blood because it's just one light person marries another light person.
Because they encourage it
and so on and so forth. Because now this is the thing with India, particularly and especially the north. They got to marry somebody who's light as them or lighter. Then you have the tribal issue. Sorry, not the tribal issue, the caste issue. Which becomes also another thing. And then of course, within the caste system, the darkest people are the lowest caste, according to them. And so what's that all about? And again, rubbish.
And they try to tell you it's not because of the
so the ones that they call the untouchables.
That's it.
The Dalits.
That's it.
They are the blackest or darkest people. Right? They're untouchables. The Dalits, nobody can marry Dalits except Dalits. So they can never come out from that caste because they say that some of the other castes they can elevate. This is all total bullshit.
Why can they elevate?
They can elevate because they can marry some Aryan blooded or somebody who's got more. Because now the Brahmins, are the top. And then you've got, I think I might pronounce it wrong, Kashtaris. I think are the next ones below them. The Brahmins are all white-looking people, like white, because again, more Aryan blood. And so they're the ones who are the top leaders, and Brahmins should only marry Brahmins. You see, and this is them that perpetuates this colorism, and it is heavy in India. When I say heavy, I mean heavy. It is life crushing until there are women who even commit suicide because of it, because they're stuck. They can't find a husband according to them, which is again pure poop because they'll still find a man if they wanted to. But India is full of a lot.
They're not finding the man that's right for right for society.
Society is the one that does it, and this is what we're talking about. And it started from what? from colonialism
Yeah.
and from other invading powers coming in who we're not the same color as you. We're
So
different, and
we're higher.
we are higher because we're lighter in color, and you lot supposed to look like us, not us look like you. And when the English came and they occupied India for about 400 years, they
The
perpetuated
English
it.
were enjoying
They
themselves
perpetuated it to another level.
Yeah, but that's why you even find it where there's them people that are actually white and they're born in India because of their family is some descendant from when they came over there in colonialism.
Yeah.
And they're high up in society, rich.
Because they've teased out people's money and said we're the ones. And this is what they were there doing. Enjoy it. They hated it when they had to leave India.
Yeah.
And that's why they tried to mash it up.
Yeah.
They didn't want to leave India whatsoever.
No, they didn't. That's why Winston Churchill was doing his business.
Yeah, they would have.
If we can't stay here, if we can't get things from them, we'll be starving them to death. We'll take all their reserves and all their food and all these things.
Yeah, because they were happy to kill them because they wanted to stay there, and they would have still been occupying India until today.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
No,
they were stealing the gold, they were stealing the diamonds, they were stealing the people.
Yeah.
You know, talking about Indian women, they're saying that they're this and they're that, but they're sleeping with all
yes,
of them.
they were making
They
lots
were
of
making
babies.
millions of children with them. So they can't have been that nasty then if they're busy looking up underneath them all day long.
But this is why people
what
think
were they looking for then?
That they're lighter than what they call black people. This is why people think they are because of all them English and that having all the babies.
Yeah. And that was what they did because they used to then go and make the babies, and then of course they're now a lighter skinned complexion than the others. So they then say, oh well, and also of course they know we've got different bloodline.
Yeah,
because
we come from the English.
My uncle is English, or my granddad is English. So then they would become the overseers. They would become the bosses. They would become the leaders. And so that's how they then began to stratify the society, that the darker ones must stay down lower.
Yes.
You dark ones are the proper Indians. So you must be the toilet cleaners and the drivers.
Yeah. And the tea boy.
And the tea boy and stay in the kitchen. Cooking the food in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And when we want the servers to come now where people can see them, we use the lighter ones.
Yeah.
Because then they might get a chance. One of the white men might fancy one of those girls and go and take her and make some more babies who are going to be even lighter.
Yes.
You see, now all this, people this is what goes over people's heads because they don't want to get into this bit.
Yeah.
That this is what they actually were doing.
Yes.
They'll bring out a light-skinned girl. They did the same. They did this. Of course it is.
To make them know, just because you've taken almost all, don't mean that the blood ain't there.
Because they did it in America, the same thing.
Yes.
Did it in the Caribbean, the same thing. Argentina, the same thing.
Brazil.
Argentina, they tried to wipe out the black skin completely. And what they're doing, they say, oh, yeah, bring this light-skinned girl, let her be a server. So when she comes to serve now, this little dirty white man who she's serving will see her, say up and speak to his friend, I want that girl. But she's a girl of color, really. But he goes, he makes her pregnant. She has a child now that's even lighter. They raise up that child in the house, put that child out as a servant, and do the same thing again. The next little dirty white man sees that child, I want that child. And they do the same thing.
Yeah,
they do the same
thing. That's exactly it.
That's where the colorism came from. So they're like, oh, well, I've got the white man's blood in me. I've got the white man's blood in me, so we're different, or we come from money.
Yeah,
you understand me, all those kind of things, right? So, but what is that? What is that? It's them. Then now darker skinned people begin to hate themselves because they feel like they can't progress.
Yes. Oh, there's no way. Because that's what you even find when I watched once again another documentary, and it was about India and the caste system. This wasn't even about skin, it wasn't. Well, it was about skin tone because that's what that's what's actually deep ingrained in the caste system. Yeah, and that's where it originates from. Yeah, but this was about the caste system, and they were showing obviously the ones at the bottom. Yeah, and they were saying, the man was saying like he just feels like, what's the point? What's the point of living? What's the point of being here? He said, I can't find
because they can't
no wife.
progress.
He said, I can't get out of this place that I am. None of my family will ever be able to be anything good. We'll never be able to progress in society. We'll always be at the lowest, no matter what. He said, my children, they're going to grow up and they'll still be at the bottom, no matter how hard I'm fighting. Yeah, that caste system
is demonic. It's satanic.
It's disgusting.
It's satanic.
Yeah, but it was here, wasn't it? In England as well.
Yeah, of course it was here.
It's still kind of here, but that's
classism.
Yeah, classism. It's got a different name.
Because they knew how to segregate people here.
Yeah.
And maybe they didn't segregate them here by the colour.
No.
But yet still, even the colorism issue was here to an extent, because like I said, the Elizabethans, the ones who were at the top, Queen Elizabeth I and her people, the lords and ladies and whatever, they're always walking around shielding themselves.
Yes.
To stay pure.
That's why you see them
and
with
painting out themselves.
With the umbrella.
And it's just that the difference here.
Sleeves.
Just that here they didn't have so much sunshine.
Yeah,
to have to shield from.
it. Yeah.
But the whole thing it's demonic.
Of course. Yeah.
And the mindset that it leaves people with. That's
Really
Pastor Nesfield.
It's true. It is demonic.
But they're leaving them with that mindset.
Yeah, because then you get these people who will, like I've told you, Dad, about what people have said to me and things about my skin tone and all this, saying, oh, I wish I had skin like yours and your skin is so nice. And I'm just like, what rubbish are you chatting? I tell them straight, stop talking that rubbish. They say, what do you mean? Don't you think it's easier for you and it's nicer for you?
Easier for you in what?
I don't understand what you're talking about. Yeah.
In whose world?
Exactly. How is it easier for you? And people used to always ask me when I was young, oh, which one of your parents is white? None of them. None of them are white. And one person was even arguing with me, saying, oh, but it must be one of them who's white. And I said, why? Because you're light.
Because of how you look.
Yeah, because you're light and all this rubbish. And then even one person, right? This is actually coming from their mouth. Oh, they're watching TV now. I'm not going to name the person, of course, because we can't,
they will know who they
are. But they know who they are. Oh, I just wish my mum got with a white man. All of our heads was, like, what? And I said, what rubbish are you chatting? Once again. They said, well, I just mean that, I'd look nicer. My cousin, her mum got with a white man and she's so beautiful.
Digging a big hole for themselves.
And I had to tell her, I said, listen to me and listen to me well. Yeah. I said, don't ever talk that rubbish around me again. I said, and I'm not joking. Yeah, what crap are you about? Oh, yeah, rubbish. Oh, yeah. Oh, I wish I had lighter skin and all this. Why? Why do you wish you had lighter skin? Because you hate yourself. That's why. Yeah, you have self-hatred inside. Deep inside of you, you believe that, I'm not as pretty as I'm not as pretty as my cousin because she's light-skinned, as they call it, or her skin is not as dark as mine. Why? That's what you are. You. That's what I said to her. I said, and guess what? She didn't. And you're brown. So get over it.
But that's the self-hate part.
Yes,
but you see, the other bit of it, which we've put the two things together now, is that those white supremacists do not want to admit that they have what they're doing, and that it hasn't stopped.
No,
you see, if you check it and go back through history, at the beginning we've got the colonialism, we've got the slavery, right? So we go back there and we know that when they've gone into Africa, they put the same people who they began to take out as slaves, they put some of them there in the first place. For those who don't know, I don't have time to go into that right now, but maybe we will repeat it another time when we can. But they put them there. They took them from Europe, because don't fool yourself when people tell you, oh, Europeans are white.
No.
It's a lie,
It's a lie.
right?
It's a big ass
Yes,
lie.
Europeans have occupied. White people have occupied Europe.
Yeah, but that's
And-
not with the
And the Neanderthal bloodline,
Yes.
which is white, as they call it, the Neanderthal bloodline dominated Europe.
Yes.
But the first human
Yep.
to step their foot on the continent of Europe was an African, a brown-skinned person. And they stepped onto the Iberian Peninsula.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Iberian Peninsula is southern Spain and Portugal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But they want to tell you Europe belongs to white people. That's a lie. It's
No,
not true.
Because all this, Spanish people, they belong to the white people.
No,
they don't.
The Italian people, these
No.
belongs to the white people. No, all these places
But
do
the
not
thing is,
belong to them.
you can
You better connect.
You can even tell by, you know, the culture
Listen.
and how people
Yeah, it's
are.
back on that.
Listen, let me tell you something. Right? Because this is the part that people don't want to hear. Oh, this thing is freezing. What's going
Yeah,
on?
it's
Yeah.
gone back. It's gone back now. You
All
just
right,
got
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
put
because
it
it was
back
just
on.
doing that. Innit?
Right?
They're not
This is the
connected.
part that they don't want to accept. You see, they don't want to accept the reality of who is who in the world.
Yeah.
So when you look, like for instance, at now, you know, you look at Spanish and what they call Latina and Latino and all of this, right?
Light
They're all
brown.
they're all people of color,
Yes, they
right?
are.
Even the ones in Spain, they are people of color.
Yes,
Yeah.
they
A
are.
Spanish man came here and stayed in my house, right?
Mhm.
He came here to learn English. The man came in my house, and for like 2 or 3 days straight, every day I see the man staring at me.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, first of all, I was wondering, is he a batty man or what is going
Yeah,
on?
what's going on?
Then I realized it's not that. Then obviously he was working up the courage to ask me a question. The guy asked me, he said, where do you think my origins are? And he told me that it's something that had been bothering him, right, throughout his life. He was in his 40s, I think, because he's dark, right? And his family were telling him a lot of hogwash about where they're trying to say that he came from. But now he's seen all my family, my children and everybody. So he's thinking now further, thinking, I
Yeah.
think that they're wrong. So he's trying to say, well, I don't know, maybe, because now he didn't want to say black. So he said maybe, you know, like North Africa, you know, I think that's where my roots are. He was saying like that. Now he's 100% correct.
Yeah.
It is North Africa.
Yes.
But hello, North Africa is which color of people? Right? Because now they want to make it that, oh, them ones in North Africa, you know, Morocco,
they're
Algeria,
Middle East.
Tunisia, they are light
There
brown.
is
Brown
no such
people.
Rubbish.
there was no such thing. And this is what I keep trying to tell people. Middle East was not even there before.
There is no
it was
Middle
never
East.
there. There was
It's
no
Africa.
Arab. There was no
No.
Middle Eastern
it's
and all
all
this rubbish.
Africa.
It was all
It's
Africa.
still
It's
Africa.
still Africa, and it will always be.
That means that
There is no Middle East.
they too lie.
They're just different
What did
shades.
Israel say?
In South Africa during apartheid, they used to do the pencil test. Does anybody know that? Because I remember that. Anyway, at the schools to teach children hail from black background or white background, the teachers would have put a pencil in the hair, and if the pencil stood or got tangled, that's how they would presume. If they were black, the pencil would stay in there, and if they were white, the pencil would drop out.
What kind
That's
of
it.
rubbish?
Simple. That's what they used to do.
Yeah.
And even there's not even a joke because that works.
Yeah, of course.
That works. You remember the girl?
Also,
Remember the
then
girl?
those light skinned ones who don't actually know which descent they're from, when the pencil ain't dropping out of their head.
Then they know. Remember that girl who came here the other day?
Yeah.
I don't want to say the name.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah.
And she sat there next to me,
Mm-hmm.
and I said to her friend who brought her, before she brought her, she was like, "Oh, you know, she's blah 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 blah. She's
Spanish or something.
she don't know. No, no. She's got Romanian.
That's it.
And I said to her, she's black.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, actually,
Yeah.
Because she even gave me her hair products. She uses the same hair products as me. I said, duh. I said, have you not seen her hair? Now, if they had put the pencil in her hair, it would have come up strong, right? But on her face, she looks like a European.
Yeah.
You see,
But
but the other features are what told me, because I said she's got black features in her face, and she's got a black woman shape.
Yeah.
Now this is the thing,
More
right?
curved shape.
I don't want to make this too rude, but it's plain and simple. The average proper European and Neanderthal, them body flat like ironing board. Let me put that in English. You know, they're behind this straight, right? We who have the melanin, our women have some proper curves around the back. So when now they say, oh, Latina women, well, how come where did they get that from? Please explain to me where they got it from. If our blood is not in there, where did they get that from? Right?
I want to know.
Where did they get it
Even
from?
when we were looking at before,
continue creating
confusion and division. Yeah, because remember before when we were discussing about the you know, the slaves and the society in Spain and all of that. Yeah. And when I watched the documentary literally said that they were there in Portugal. You know, the original brown dark people were there, and the what they call Spanish and whatever,
who came from the north.
Yeah, they came down there and they started, and it wasn't even a slavery thing at first. They started telling them, oh, you know, the same rubbish that they're saying. Oh, it's better to be lighter, and you know, if you're lighter, then your people will more see you as rich, and you'll be accepted. That's right.
And they'll fit in with the others. Yeah. And they were jealous. Listen, what's the word I'm looking for? The Renaissance. Yeah. Now, I often, when we do these lives, we throw lots of words out and lots of terms, and people. I'm telling again, I'm not explaining it. Go and look it up. Renaissance. The Renaissance, which they say this is what you know, Europe gave that to the world. Where did it start? Southern Spain and Portugal. It started there. Which people did it start with? People who look like us. You understand? People who look like us. They were the ones who were fixing the streets properly. They were the ones who made street lights. They were the ones who were making nice libraries, and there were libraries in Africa years and years and years and years and years ago, before Europe had any such thing. The number one thing that gets me above all is the skin washing. The skin washing. People of color, our people. This one gets me passionate until I can't even. I'm sorry, but I can't just talk about it nicely, because all of my life in the UK, I have grown up hearing nasty white people who will be showering and washing themselves once a week coming and telling me about my skin is dirty. If we don't bath and wash ourselves, we will get licks until we can't sit down. Right? But they're once a week. Back in the day, in those times when they were whitening their skin, they were washing themselves once a month. Once a month.
Yes, and all sharing the same one little dirty bowl of water.
Right? And look,
it wasn't until them public baths were, and even then they had to cut off them public baths
because of nastiness. Nasty. And then they talk about people of color. Listen, it is we dark brown people, black people as they politically call us, who taught the Spanish and the Portuguese how to wash themselves properly. And it's a known fact, historical. Go and search it. That they had bath. What do they call them? These baths and spas everywhere in southern Spain and Portugal. And it is the so-called Moors, right? And they've used that term Moor because then they've tried to fool you that it wasn't black people. They were Arab looking. Which kind of Arab looking? What do you mean by that?
Let's go back.
Because who were the original Arabs?
Right then.
Who were the original Arabs?
Don't even get it twisted. And this is the thing. I think it's like people can't think that, oh, now they can see someone like me, yeah, who's come from two brown parents, just two different shades and etc. Or they can see somebody who looks like, and they'll be, oh, well, yeah, that makes sense because you're from there. But if somebody is in Africa or somewhere like that, oh, it's not making sense. Why they're light brown? They must be Middle Eastern, or they must be Arab, or they must be something. Listen, there was one girl that I knew. She was the same skin tone as me, and she didn't have not one drop of white blood that she knew of in her family. Both her parents were dark, and she came out very light. And people weren't asking her the rubbish that they're asking me. Why? And because
when you go to Morocco,
they believe that I'm Moroccan.
which they're saying Morocco is North Africa.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
she looked just like those people there. I am her father.
I told you already what they said to me. They were there. Oh, you're Moroccan, aren't you? And I said no. Even to Zaka, they said, "Oh, you're Moroccan, brother." And I said, "No, we're not Moroccan." Yes, you're Moroccan. Your father is dark Moroccan. And I was like, no.
The book 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro describes King John, what's that, the sixth?
Yeah.
Of Portugal as a dark
mulatto,
and the maker of modern Brazil and Portugal and Brazil.
Yeah. And we know what that means when they're saying that. Dark mulatto.
If he had a little white grandparent or
It
something.
means,
He
that,
was like
he
me.
means that he looked like Tamar.
Yeah.
So he was a man of color.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you see, this is what they did. They wanted to wash out all of that color from Europe.
Because then they wouldn't be able to, indoctrinate everybody with their lies of, brown and dark people never done nothing on this earth except be a slave or, be low in society. And only the lighter, whiter people.
Right, are the ones who invented everything.
Did everything.
They're the ones who had libraries. They're the ones who were rich. They were. They were kings. They were kings and queens. Some of them. They were kings and queens when they were taken into slavery.
Yes,
exactly.
Right? They were picking kings and queens and putting them into slavery.
And they were doing that on purpose.
And that was done. That was done from the time of the original people, the tribe of Judah. They took the rulers and the leaders. Yeah, and they took them and transported them out of the kingdom.
Yeah.
And they did it on purpose. They transported them out for two reasons. One, to decimate the kingdom and destroy it. And also they took them so that they could use them.
Yeah.
And this has always been the case, that from ever time immemorial until now, this whole issue of the colorism thing, it's all about that, because they want to use you.
Yes.
You see, so in order to use you, they must confuse you.
Yes. Exactly. Hence slavery and all those things.
Yeah.
And even still till now.
Methods are still being used today.
Yeah, they are still till now. Look at with the news, right? Oh, look at what happened with this whole the white people have stormed the Capitol. Listen. and they bullied the black officer who was guarding. That black officer weren't guarding Jack, right? Let me tell you that. My man's no, you can't come in. Stepping back. Oh, that's what I'm saying. It's all planned. Look, it's made to make you believe that it's like when I watched the video and the man said
protest. How much guards was on the steps of?
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then suddenly now
they were in full combat.
Right then, like army. Now suddenly this time, they're not.
Nobody was there.
Listen. Well, I watched a video that was obviously explaining the thing that happened at the Capitol last night, and the man actually said it perfectly. He said that there's two things, right? He said this is racism, and this is the actual problem, right? He said, and the news will tell you, and the problem they'll show you the problem, but they'll make it this, the racism, and say this is like this. This is what the problem is. This is what, so then everybody is only interested in the racism because the real problem is behind it, hidden like that. And that's a fact. That's what they're doing, and that's what they're still doing till now. on TV right now.
Yeah.
That's why it's always, oh, black youth did this and that.
Yeah, colorism.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And
White man
Whenever it's
did
someone
this
that's
and
not
that.
of color,
They
not to
actually
even
say,
mention the color.
they don't mention the color.
And the problem is that too many of our people have bought into that.
Yes.
You see?
Far
So
too
that
many.
then you know, it's almost a different subject, but hey, because I'm just looking at the time and thinking, boy,
It's getting, it's
You
getting
know?
late.
you see. But let me just say this little bit. People have come to the UK. You know, some have come from parts of Africa. Some have come from parts of the Caribbean. Some came from Jamaica. You know, and other Caribbean islands, and they've come here.
Yeah.
Either they've come here, you know, first generation, they came to work. Some came as children of those people or grandchildren of those people.
Yeah.
So we've come here, we've formed a grouping.
Yeah.
Then they've had children. Some of those children have had children. So then, you know, you get even you get even third and fourth generation of those same people. Now here's the issue, really. You end up even 3 and 4 generations deep, but yet still there's no identity.
Yeah.
There's no belonging. Right?
You're made to feel that you don't belong.
What would I be? First generation, second generation. My granddaughter is upstairs.
Third generation.
And if I brought her down now and got her here to tell you herself, still even for her, this whole colorism thing is a problem. Right? And this is, you know,
And society is still playing it.
so many years, and people like her have no clue what my father went through when he came here, and you know, and people like that, having to walk with switchblade on the road and all that type of thing. And then now, anyway, you know, now knives are youths are walking with knives. It's not a new thing.
No, it's not.
It's not a new thing.
Making it a black thing.
Even the reason why they're walking with a knife
is
not a new thing, right? And this is why I'm saying that if we don't get the truth from people and get the truth to people, we're lost in this. Because then we can start looking at, I don't like white people, blah, 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 I don't like this. No, don't fool yourself with all that rubbish, because that's exactly where they want to put you, so that they want to segregate you.
Yes, you're wasting time.
They want to separate you, so that you blacks, you stay over there. You know, this is what they like.
Yes.
You blacks stay over there, and the whites stay over there. You Irish stay over there.
Yeah.
In fact, the Irish, you might be a bit friendly with the blacks, so
yeah.
you know, no, it's rubbish, right? Because then even what happens when you allow that one to work, you then start within your amongst yourselves.
Then it
So
begins,
you get Africans one side, bam. Caribbeans one side, bam. Then the Caribbeans start to brock up separately. Jamaicans one side. The Nevis and St. Kitts people one side. No.
Yeah, Bayesians,
You know?
and all Bayesians are not real Caribbean.
I'm tired of it.
Yeah, and this is the thing, because I told you on Twitter, it's actually calmed down a lot now, because certain people, which I'm very actually grateful for, have continually pressed on them people until they can't press no more to make them stop. Oh, Ghanaian and Nigerian and all this. Ghanaians are better than Nigerians. Nigerians are better than Ghanaians.
They need to stop.
Actually, Congolese are better than all the then the next one. Senegalese are better. No one cares. Okay?
And it's rubbish.
No one cares.
I'll tell
where
you the
you are
wickedest
from.
one, where the jollof originated from.
Who cares where jollof originated from? I'm not interested. Jollof is rice. I don't care.
With a bit of seasoning.
Yeah. The same way And there's different kind of rice and peas and different kind of curry goat and different kind of
because
curry
other
chicken.
Caribbeans make their curry chicken.
Yes.
Trinidadian curry chicken is different than
Yes.
Jamaican one, and it's
Yes.
nice as well.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
so good. Yes. So what's
Trinidadian curry is nice, man. The
Yeah,
green curry
serious.
is proper.
Yeah, man.
But it's different again. So
Yes.
don't try that.
Exactly.
Don't try that. It's a different thing.
Cultural thing.
Yeah.
That's
You know?
why even they have more like Angelica said with the roti and all of that because of the
They've had more Indians,
Indian,
more
yeah.
East Indians
Yeah.
there.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not a big thing. The same way in England, not everyone is cooking their roast dinner the same.
Exactly.
Get over it. People don't even cook their English breakfast the same.
No, exactly.
Yeah. So why is it something, or where did it originate from?
It
Who
doesn't really
cares?
matter.
And really and truly, you will never know.
Exactly.
Let's be realistic here. You're
Mhm.
never gonna find that information.
So what you got to understand,
Mm-hmm.
bottom line to all of this is that this colorism thing, right, is self-hatred
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
and white supremacy.
Yeah, white supremacy.
They
There's no
caused it.
self-love
There's no
They
self-love.
caused it, and it doesn't matter whether they want to admit, agree, or
or
accept.
yeah.
They caused it.
Yes.
And in India, right
Mm,
now,
so
for instance,
prevalent.
it is a very, very, very serious thing that there are girls there who are committing suicide because they can't marry the man who they're supposed to want to marry or whatever because of their color.
Yeah.
They start. The families tell them, start bleaching yourself from so
Yeah.
age.
From like
Stay out of
And
the
do you know,
sun.
they did a campaign because there's a company there called I think they're called Dark and Lovely.
Yes.
Yeah. They did a campaign against them because they brought out a cream for women to be whitening their vagina. And then they tried to ban the cream, and it's still being sold on the market. So they're bleaching even there.
Disgusting. Yeah, because they don't want to be found out to be
Right? Because obviously let's not try to be too thing, but that part of your body tells no lies.
Yes.
My mum was a gangster. Remember me tell you that. My mum, gangster. She does tell I was scared of her when she was vexed because she does tell him raw. Oh, them future them is this, them is that, but them look under them underneath.
Yeah.
Then they know who them is.
Exactly.
Right?
Facts.
Now, sorry folks, those who didn't understand it, I will not translate.
No, you don't need to know.
But those who understand that lingo, you know what I'm saying. My mum was gangster, right? And it's a reality. That part of your body does not tell lies. So now all of a sudden, they're selling that cream, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous.
And that's probably because there's certain nasty men who will then, when they find out their wife is
They will
not
beat
woke,
them to death, or
exactly.
go to the family and
Yeah.
you know.
And all
all
these
them
things,
type of
oh, they're
things.
divorcing, or you know, or they're not
I
interested in a
couldn't believe it.
relationship.
They tried
to the side.
they tried to get them to take it off the market, and it's on the market still for them to be, but they should be bleaching. You know, they're bleaching out that part of their body. Jesus Christ. And whether we like it or not, we've got to tell the truth because these are the things. And the thing is that whether we like it or not.
This is from someone's face, not Snapchat. Someone's
Yes, let's do.
What did Yeah, look, this is because this is a Nigerian what they call influencer. Yeah, look, you can't even see the skin because it's so. And this is what they're putting on.
This is on the leg.
Yeah,
it's so white.
On the arm, right?
Jesus.
This is the cream that they're putting on themselves, right? And this guy, because this is the thing, right? It's a man, but he's parading as a woman, basically.
Oh, he's a Baphomet.
Yeah, he's a Baphomet. Yeah, and the things that he encourages people to do, he was as dark as maybe Dad, or he was like around Dad's skin tone, and now he's lighter than me. lighter than me and has this like yellowish
Yeah, because
tinge
this is
to
what I
it.
don't
This
understand.
grey
It never
look. It
looks.
doesn't look normal.
No.
It
because
doesn't look right.
It's not natural.
It doesn't look right.
Yeah, and he's on there. Yes, you know this, and some people know who I'm talking about because this is how he talks. Yeah, hey guys, you know this is the best product ever
Oh Lord.
for my skin. You know it's so whitening, and I use the cream, I use the scrub, I use the body wash, I use the foot wash, I use the face wash, everything, using everything.
Listen, there's a
Knuckles
pastor.
everywhere.
There's a pastor of a prominent church in the UK right now.
Mm.
I won't name his name, but that man was well, I don't know. He was dark. Maybe he was my kind of color, or maybe
Yeah.
you know, a bit darker.
Yeah.
The man divorced his good Nigerian wife. Nice. She was maybe the coloration of Angelica. The woman is pretty. Remember me tell you that. The man divorced his good, nice looking African wife. Him himself, he's a Nigerian. Must have been because she wouldn't bleach.
Yeah.
He went and married a Polish white woman,
Yeah.
a blonde one,
That's what it
right?
is.
And if you ever see the man now, he looks like a Chinese.
Because he's that. Because that's what he's done
No,
to his
he looks
skin
like a Chinese because he's bleached himself
Yeah.
so much.
to that level.
And this is what I'm talking about. And now there's a man who's preaching deliverance, and he needs deliverance himself.
Yes, as well. Yeah.
Right? He's preaching deliverance, and he needs
And he
deliverance
needs it.
himself. Because how you gonna go and
Them
bleach out
self-hate
yourself?
demons.
You
But
know?
it's them people that are sitting and listening to him because I can't be told nothing by no one who looks like them.
Anybody, that's what I'm saying. Anybody, you have self-hatred that you're mutilating your body. You cannot
You
tell me
can't
anything.
tell me nothing.
You can't come and
You don't.
tell
Your mind's
me
warped. I
nothing.
can already see your mind is
You're
warped. so I'm not
already,
really
you're
interested.
already ill. You're ill.
Yeah.
So therefore, anything you have to say to me is rubbish. And I'm not interested.
Yeah.
And it's straight
Yeah, it's
simple
very
as
sad.
that. Yeah, and it is very sad because these
Yeah.
people are serious on it.
Yeah.
You know, they're bleaching off themselves. Like, look at that one that we saw where the person was in the
In the
bath
liquid.
of acid looking thing.
It looked like
And
that.
you know,
looked
and
like
it
the
is
skin
acid
was
because
bubbling off.
I actually looked into it.
It is
Yeah,
acid.
and it's acid.
Yes, of course.
Look here. Right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember.
And then this was when he was married.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh my god.
Yes.
Can you see the difference?
That's awful.
I don't even want to.
No,
I
don't.
wouldn't.
Don't
Ah,
show
yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's
And this is the thing, because
What
what
you
happens
like,
as
you
well
got
is
no
if you
budget
don't
for your
have exactly if you don't have the money, you're actually worse
You
off.
see?
Yeah, this is what you find when you don't have the money. Your skin bleaching
Joe,
issues
there was a
become
thing.
serious because then your knuckles, the
Some
the
woman put her
melanin in
picture
your
on
knuckles is
Facebook,
strong.
yeah, and then she had on like these shoes.
Look how he
So
was.
everyone could see.
Look at that.
Everyone
Darker
could
than
see.
me.
Yeah,
Wasn't he?
that the
Darker than
feet-
me.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's looking
Yeah,
like more
everyone
than
could
even
see
that
her
man
feet
next to
was
him.
still black.
What did he? He wanted a whole glass.
Oh yeah, that was for the... This woman that put her picture on Facebook, everyone could see that her feet were black.
Yeah.
And I don't think to this day she's ever gotten over that picture. Everyone's cussing about how come you want to bleach out your skin and you ain't got budget for your foot
Yeah,
and all these things.
but it's the truth.
Well, yeah, if you can't upkeep your habits.
Yeah. If you can't keep up with your habit and your thing, don't do it. Yeah, because then people like, it's bad.
See? And he
he
hasn't started fully yet. Then
No.
it's gone worse than that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And this is actually what people do. They'll be, I need to. And this is why you get those rich ones like that Nigerian influencer that I was telling you about, who are doing it like that to that degree where they're scrubbing their whole body fully because they know that if they don't,
got no elbows on easy.
no, he hasn't, and he's got barely any knuckle left too. Yeah. That's how it's coming now. He's starting to look like all one shade everywhere. And he thinks that it looks good. No, it doesn't look good. But you know whose skin does resemble that, of course. It's those pale people, the nude people, as I call them, yeah. They are the ones that they don't have as much pigmentation on their elbows or on their knees.
But
and that's what
you can still
there's
see it,
still
though.
a hue, isn't there?
Yeah, it's like a pinky or whatever, but you can see wear the knuckles
Yeah.
and things. I mean,
These people are aspiring to be like them. So
Yeah, but
then
it's
that's why
never
they
gonna
believe,
be.
oh, yes, I must take off all the brown. All of
never
it.
gonna be.
Yeah,
These people
all pigment of brown must
of,
come
of,
off.
of my coloration and darker who want to be your
It's
color.
never gonna
It's
happen.
never gonna be that
No.
color. It's gonna be all grey and wash out
Yes.
because it's not real.
Yes. Because all that
And
you've
it never
actually
looks
done
as good
is
as what
take
they're
away
expecting
your
in their head.
melanin. That's all that you've done. You either stripped your skin of essential layers,
Yeah.
or you've ingested something into you to stop the production of melanin or to minimize the production
Whichever
of
method
melanin.
they're using,
You're going to
the
get
colour don't come
ill.
out right. Mate.
No, it can't come out
They
right
look
because it's not
greyish.
natural.
And look at the good-looking wife wearing Klingwood.
Yeah, when she's pretty
Huh?
and looks nice.
And there's no bleaching on her.
And also, what even is that? The daughter?
That's the wife.
Who's the next one?
I
Some
don't know.
lady.
That's her niece. Her niece.
Oh, her niece.
It's her
Yeah.
niece.
What was I gonna say?
Yeah, look
Who
at
was
her.
he thinking he was though?
He thinks he's white.
And obviously
isn't
that is why they
self-hatred.
Yeah.
because he had self-hatred and
And
she
she don't.
did not. Yeah. And I think people are not. I think people think this self-hatred thing is just.
Mate, it's a
Oh,
myth.
it's just yeah. They just want to look better and they just want to know. No, because even celebrities, and this is what the lady said, that Asian lady said, the Filipino lady said, even the celebrities
Yeah,
are
they're doing
endorsing it. And even here,
Yeah, they are.
they're endorsing it. Don't be fooled thinking it's only them Asian ones or them Korean
No.
K-pop stars and all that.
Mm-mm.
No, it's Beyonce.
Yes.
It's Rihanna.
Yes.
It's all them people there. Yeah.
That's right.
All of them
That's
have
right.
bleached themselves.
They all bleach.
They've
Yeah.
all bleached. Go and look at the even
Look at the previous
yeah.
pictures,
Look at the
mate.
previous pictures. And do you know
Original
what, even,
Destiny's Child, and look at her now.
yeah. And
not
do you know
hard.
what even people tried to say at one time, because there was a picture that came out that showed that someone had heavily bleached themselves. Yeah. Listen to now these dum-dums that just want to defend everything that these people. I think it was Nicki Minaj. Oh, it's the lighting. What lighting?
Yeah, she's been bleaching as well.
Yeah.
So
A long time.
Obviously,
And she's the queen of self-mutilation.
Of course.
Yeah, because if you see even a picture of her from back in the day, her back was flat like nothing else, like pancake.
Yeah.
And she didn't even have no breast either.
No, she had nothing.
Nothing. Now she looks like some balloon animal with all big up boobs out here and all bum hanging out the back and all of this.
Fake weave down
and the weave down to the ankles. And that's the thing, right? And I remember she showed her natural hair. And it was long because, of course, it's always under the wigs.
Yeah, but that's like Cardi B.
Yeah, the same thing.
She
Her
actually
hair's
got
long.
really nice hair.
Yes. And everybody said, oh, your hair's everybody was saying, oh, your hair's beautiful. Why don't you wear it? And all these things. And she was going, yeah, I will. Wore it once and went straight back to the self-hating wigs and whatever else because obviously to her she doesn't believe that her natural hair is good enough to be
industry standard of
the music industry standard of beauty.
Yeah.
And that's what they were all
and that's because again that's white supremacy.
Yes, because
it's about them dominating the industry.
Yeah.
So they're looking for
influence.
certain image.
That's what it is.
I'm just watching the time because that's why I'm keep saying because I don't want to say too much because I'm done the thing.
Yeah, we're
So
done.
we're gonna finish it in just a minute.
Yeah.
But I want to say this because I'm gonna put a little spanner in the works for people. Every time I go anywhere around the world, I'm not saying I've been everywhere, but I've been to quite a few places, and they say, "Oh, I'm Jamaican." Oh, yeah, Bob Marley. Let me just tell you something. No, but because this one, I have to say this one because to me, this one has to do exactly with this white supremacy thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. People, listen. Let me tell you something. I like Bob Marley's music. There was nothing wrong with Bob Marley's music, and I'm talking now as far as reggae goes. If you're somebody who's not into reggae, then go to sleep.
Yeah.
As far as reggae goes in general. But like when they say, "Oh yes, Bob Marley was the greatest.
No.
Bob Marley was the reggae superstar." Rubbish.
Incorrect.
Rubbish.
Yeah.
Not no gossip.
Yeah, incorrect.
Totally and absolute nonsense. Even amongst Bob Marley and the Wailers, him and his crew, bigger man was in there than him. Bunny Wailer is still alive until today. Okay, if you don't know music, you don't know music anyway. But if you have even a musical ear to listen, you're going to understand what I'm saying. Bunny Wailer is alive until today. Bunny Wailer, if you want to hear a representation of the reality of reggae, listen to Bunny Wailer and you'll hear it better than what you'll hear of Bob Marley.
Yeah.
Now, why am I saying that? Because I said I want to say this as the last thing to just put a little perspective on this whole thing about the coloration. They looked at Bob Marley and they said, him, he doesn't look too dark.
Yeah.
You see?
Lighter.
Because his daddy was white.
Yeah.
So they knew he's lighter. Yes, he's a Rasta. He's got the dreadlocks, but he's not dark like Bunny Wailer.
Yeah.
You see, Bunny Wailer's dark. And Bunny Wailer is dark, not just in his color, but even his music to them was dark. You understand me? Excuse me. This is going. Forget about that one. You know, even his music to them is dark.
Yeah.
So they said, oh yeah, we need to dominate this reggae thing, right? Don't fool yourself. Well, oh yeah, Bob Marley at that time, Bob blah 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 blah. And they got into the UK. And they got into the UK. Listen, if you go, you may even find some of this stuff on the internet. I'm not sure. But they themselves, who then decided, right, we're going to market him. They marketed Bob Marley as a rock musician.
Yeah.
Go and check out this and see if I'm lying. Because they were marketed, and I'm not saying necessarily that it's wrong. I'm just trying to show you something. They marketed him as a rock musician. So they were marketing him to the white people. So they had to package him in a certain way. So if you listen, yes, we like some of these music and we can remember some of these notable tracks and tunes and so forth. But the arrangement of the music, now I'm getting a little into for people who don't know music, but the arrangement of the music is not reggae, it is rock. Even there might be on internet, if you look somewhere, you might find there's an interview where Bob Marley was cussing out some of the musicians because they brought in country and Western musicians to play, and he's telling them, "No, man, you can't feel the thing." And of course they couldn't. They were playing country and Western style, right? And to the reggae that he was trying to get. But why? Because they said they wanted to have the different edge, right? They wanted to package it. Now we're talking a while ago, because Bob Marley died a while ago, and he died young anyway. But the thing is that they packaged him on purpose as the superstar of reggae. This white, this more light-skinned looking man who fitted what they wanted him to fit more.
But that's why these
it's a lie.
People can only mention him.
Yeah,
You know,
it's a lie.
What reggae music do you like? And they only know Bob
And they just mentioned Bob Marley.
That's like with some
white people. As soon as you mention that, oh yeah, Bob Marley.
Yeah, this what black guy asked the white people, "Oh, who's your favorite black person?" And then people are there, Martin Luther King, and all these kind of foolish answers, right? And he was saying, why is it always got to be some sort of,
because that's all they know.
That's all they know. You know what I mean? Oh, Rosa Parks and even Rosa Parks
she
was
was
packaged. Yes, she was.
She was packaged.
Yeah. Let me tell you. Between Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X, pick one, and I'll tell you who I pick. Malcolm X.
Yes.
God bless you. I'm not saying any more than that. Thanks very much, folks. It was a pleasure. Till next time, God bless.
Bye, everyone.
I'm going to ask them more than that.
Yeah.